Nothing is worse than getting back from an awesome vacation and realizing you only took a few crummy pictures. That's why I want to give you some fun and practical tips for taking photos that will do your next Disney trip justice. Let's start with talking about photographing people first. Now, to be clear, these are tips for anyone and mostly cell phone use since that's what most people use. We're not actually talking about busting out your massive SLR camera, tripod, and multiple lenses today. Okay, so let's get to our first tip. First, choose a hero. It really helps if you know who or what you want to be the main focus or hero of your picture, instead of just trying to get every single thing crammed into one picture, usually leaving the people in the image tiny spots somewhere in the middle there. I know we all do this from time to time, but it's most definitely not the image you want for all of your vacation pictures. It's okay to just take a picture of a fun building or landmark and not have a family member in front of it. You don't have to throw your kid in front of the thing and make them awkwardly smile to justify the picture. That practice comes from the 80s when people were using film to take pictures and they literally only had 24 images to take for their whole vacation. So they would have to smash everything all in one picture, and sure, we all need the obligatory family picture in front of the castle, but it's also nice to have some quality pictures of your loved ones while on vacation. And I promise you, it isn't as hard as you think, but it does help if you know if you want the person or the building or whatever to be the hero of the picture. Next, let's talk cropping, which is especially important when taking pictures of children, in my opinion. One way to tell people who the hero of the picture is by understanding negative and positive space and how it plays a role in emphasizing people or objects in a picture. This is where cropping comes into play. If every picture that you ever take has the object or the person you're taking a picture of in the center of it, with a bunch of noisy negative space around it, not only will all of your pictures look the same, but they will be lacking in any detail or a hero. And oftentimes, these types of images are just confusing to the eye, so let me show you what I mean with this picture of Minnie Mouse on a float. The first image is your typical point and shoot picture. Sure, it's an okay picture, but let's see what happens in the next two photos. Which photo highlights the shapes and colors that are on the float with Minnie, and which picture highlights Minnie herself? Now there's no question as to who the hero is in this photo. There are times where you can use negative space all around a person to draw the eye to them, but in those instances it's seriously negative space, like in these images. I mean, if you're going to take a picture of someone, let's make sure you can actually see them and you know it's a picture of them. Usually, this means physically getting in closer and tapping the image that you want in focus on your phone screen so it focuses on the right thing. Sometimes when you're taking a close-up cropped picture, phones can get confused as to what you want to focus on, so make sure you tell it what you want it focused on. And I'll tell you what, I have never regretted having a nicely cropped, tight shot of one of my loved ones. They are always the images I love the most from my vacations. I also love to take what I call POV photos of my children and, well, quite frankly, anybody. These are the kind of images where you basically see the person experiencing the moment, whether you're taking the photo from behind or taking the photo of their face as they're watching something or doing something, or sometimes a POV photo can actually be from the point of view of the picture taker themselves. This is a fun way to capture emotion, energy, and experience in just one picture. Let me show you some images from my family going to the pumpkin patch last fall to kind of help explain this concept a little bit more. The first two images do a good enough job of kind of capturing what we were doing. They're your typical snapshot style photos taken. But in these next images, through using cropping and also POV style images, you really get the vibe and the feeling of what the evening was like. Now, when it comes to taking pictures of people, I will always favor capturing someone's personality over forcing them to smile. Now, there are some clever tricks to get more natural smiles out of people, and I will share those with you, but before I do that, I just want to make a case for taking pictures of the not-so-perfect times, the silly times, and capturing personalities with images first. Most people just really don't love being forced to stand and smile for a picture. Young children and toddlers are especially bad at this. That's why I always prefer capturing images when people are in a more relaxed state, doing something that's more natural and in their comfort zone. I always get better smiles and pictures of my kids chatting with characters than I do when we have them pose and smile. Case in point, this picture of my daughter chatting with Mary Poppins and Bert over the forced smile picture. Of course, both are adorable, but the first one is way more natural looking. If you do want just a nice smiling picture, here's a few tips from someone who's professionally had to get people to smile naturally for them for many years now. For my 2-year-old who loves Donald Duck, we always say, "Where's Donald Duck? Can you find him? Is he sitting on my phone?" And you point to the phone. So she looks up at the phone and she's smiling because she's looking for her favorite character. Kids also love silly things to say, things like, "Say Daddy is stinky," or "Say tacos and cheese." Usually fun phrases help bring a good fun smile out of them, especially if they're saying something silly about someone in their group. Now for adults, one thing that works really well is saying something really kind or complimenting them and then capturing their reaction. Sometimes I'll even say, "You can go ahead and relax now. I'm just gonna go ahead and take a few more pictures." And just them hearing you give permission to relax, you get a more natural look out of them. Or saying that the last picture was so beautiful, I'm going to go ahead and take one more, will really lighten up their faces. Having everyone say the word "ha" usually gets a good, nice, natural open mouth smile, and then usually gets a good giggle reaction after, or having everyone say "me" gets big smiles. With teens and older children, you can have them say their name of their favorite celebrity or their secret crush. Usually those things brighten up their face a little bit and take them out of their teenager angst for a second. Changing the focus of the eyes can also add a new look to a photo, as well as relax the person who's getting the photo taken. Doing things like asking them to look at somebody else in the picture or at an object beyond the camera will really help. Lastly, kisses, hugs, and holding hands can also help with comfort levels and lightening the mood in pictures, so don't be afraid to play around and have fun when you're taking those pictures. Now let's talk about photographing the park. Whether you're photographing the castle, some kind of a ride, the parades, there's a very important thing you need to think about first. And that is the lighting. If you can understand and use lighting to your benefit, you can really capture some awesome images at the parks. It's amazing what light can do to a photo, whether it's causing a silhouette effect due to the light being in the back of the object, or if the light is peeking out from behind, causing light flares, or full light coverage, making an image brighter and sometimes even washed out if you're working with high noon bright sun. That sun will really cause some washing out as well as some diffusing of details. So really keep that in mind when you're taking those sunny afternoon pictures. The best times of day to get some nice soft lighting outside is in the morning time, around sunrise. The morning sun will have softer, more cool and bluish tones. And then around sunset. In fact, that hour or two before sunset is called golden hour for its infamous golden glow. It really has a way of making everything sparkle and glow. Of course, Disney does all kinds of specialty lighting in the evening, especially at Halloween and Christmas time. So don't forget to take advantage of all of that fun lighting that they have going on. There's nothing I love more than watching the park's personality change throughout the day and the seasons with all of its different lighting. Next, you need to angle up and move around. Of course, Disney parks can be very busy, and sometimes you don't want hundreds of strangers in your picture of the castle or Space Mountain. This is when it's helpful to not just do shots that are straight out from your eye line, but to angle up and move around and play with the different angles to get those strangers out of your pictures. You can step back and watch how everyone takes pictures of the castle from the exact same spot. But if you move around and play with your angles, you can get some unique images void of strangers photobombing and ruining your beautiful picture. And remember, Disney castles are beautiful no matter what angle you look at them, so go all the way around the castle and take pictures from all the different angles and views. Let me show you what I mean with this angling technique with a couple of my photos from around the park to show you these pictures were taken at the exact same place. Time, day, everything. I just changed the angle and it changes the photo for the better when you're trying to do something like highlight a land or take a picture of a beautiful building. You just don't want a bunch of random people in those pictures. And don't forget to catch the parades and the entertainment and get pictures of them. This is a perfect way to get some awesome photos of all of your characters. My kids love going through all of my parade photos and videos. Parades are also a great time to practice your photography skills. You can play around with lighting, cropping, angles, colors. I've taken hundreds of pictures of the Magic Happens parade and not a single image is the same. It's so fun. I just want to take a brief moment to tell you about my channel's club membership. When you join this club, you get access to all different kind of things like loyalty badges, custom emojis, early access to my new videos, and access to insider videos that are for members only. I'm going to be making a whole bunch of those videos this year, so if you're interested in that, don't forget to join the club. Plus, it helps support me in making new and unique content just for you. Now let's talk about how you actually capture your experience in a picture and get those kind of photos that make people say, "Oh my gosh, your trip looked so fun." I really like to take advantage of the feature that I believe most phones have now, and that's taking photos while recording video. This is very helpful with kids meeting their favorite characters. All you have to do is while you're recording your video, tap the white capture button to take a photo within the video. Doing this can change your typical meeting characters photo from this into this. Especially because, like we talked about before, meeting characters is when a lot of times your kids are going to do their most natural smiles and fun reactions, and so you really want to be ready to capture any moment. Next, I'm just going to come out and say it, take pictures of your food. Now, you don't have to take pictures of every single meal, but food is such a big part of our senses, and our senses is a lot of what helps us remember things, and so taking pictures of those meals and those treats and then going back and looking at them is going to really help you remember exactly what that experience was like. And surprisingly enough, sometimes you can get some really fun pictures out of people eating and holding drinks and foods because it gives them something to do with their hands and their mouth, and you're taking pictures of them experiencing something. So as long as it's not completely unflattering, these photos can actually be really fun. One of the things I love about photography is how you can tell a story through just one image, capturing those special rite of passage moments, your kid's favorite activity, how busy the park was that day, a heartwarming and beautiful tribute, the way my husband walks hand in hand with his girls, completely outnumbered by all of us. You can tell a story of all the adventures you went on, all the new things you saw, little nooks and crannies with secret hiding places for fairies to meet, So whether you're taking these pictures for your own enjoyment or to share with others, I hope I gave you some helpful tips today. So when you're on your next Disney adventure, you can look back and say, I am so glad I took those pictures. Thank you everybody for watching and putting up with my post-cold, scratchy voice. I promise I'll be better next week. Take care for now. Bye-bye.